So we are going to proceed our conversation. We have some memories from our first one. Therefore, we are going to proceed further. We need to recall some of that because we didn't have recording the first time. But do you have your records, some kind of something you written down from before? Yeah. Okay. So the question is then, how should we proceed and what kind of assistance would you like and where do we start? Yes, we should start with the questions and also for clarification, maybe would you like to state your change between our first conversation and now? How did you change during the period and how the first conversation have affected you and what changed and what did not, and some comments about that. One question we are curious about, the first time we were discussing your like an issue or circumstance that you were reported that you were having some unpleasant pictures in your mind, and we recommended some exercises about visualizing some police, that was the word what was used, to remove those unpleasant pictures. So how was it going for you with that? No, that's a positive development, we would call. Okay, so let's move on. Would you like to say something before we begin? So for now there's a big load of questions trying to be accumulated in one question. So we should start at something. So in this, so we can start with the question regarding the coming of your soul, where it came from, and it does appear that your soul has been traveling a lot, because it started definitely in some other universe, because this universe is not the first universe you are traveling through. You had universal cycles before. That indicates that your soul is somewhat an advanced soul, and this advancement indicates that your soul is kind of adventurous soul, and that the adventure is based on that you like the thing is that you like a challenge, you like to challenge yourself, but on the other hand, it's not the way we imagine challenges. Because, for example, if we really like challenges, well, why not incarnate into Africa? And there's a lot of challenges there. And in here, it doesn't seem to be so challenging, especially regarding your circumstances. You're not in an overly challenging situation compared to Africa, for example. But the thing is that the challenge that you like to pursue is the challenge of organizing for yourself circumstances to not face challenges, if that is something comprehensible. So this is a challenging thing, and that's how you like to challenge yourself. And the circumstances of your life is like an outcome of the way you challenge yourself. The whole idea of your soul was to go through all these challenging circumstances and to look a few steps ahead and try to make your life easier in front. What is trying to be said here is that you're kind of exploring the idea of how to make yourself comfortable beforehand, and therefore this way overcoming challenges before they come. But that doesn't mean that the challenges are not going to come, because they will come, but somewhere between those lines is the thing that you are exploring. And part of that is coming to this, the whole this universe, and to our galaxy the same, and to this planet, and to this life. It's all of those things, because you have this idea that in your perfect life, you should organize things in such a manner that you wouldn't have to face challenges. But on the other hand, you know that if you are not going to face challenges, all the life is going to be boring. Therefore, you try to go in challenging situations, and in those challenging situations, you try to avoid challenges. It all sounds like a soup of strange behaviors, but that's how it looks like. So it's not completely clear whatever it is understood by you, what is meant by these statements. It appears that living on this planet is just like it's the same energy. You started with that energy, and you are proceeding with that energy further on, and this planet is just a continuation of the same energy. New is appropriate word, but also it's not like a new, but like new, but in continuation. Like the energy is the same, energies continue, but new circumstance, new angle on that situation, but not a completely new, like nothing experienced before. As a few points can be mentioned about traumatic experiences. There have been a few lives where you have been strong warrior, and you have been in quite a few battles in Europe, for example, and there have been injuries, bodily injuries, and it appears that those bodily injuries still have etheric scars, and they should be bleeding into this lifetime. It appears that those scars are not healed yet, because the body in those lifetimes have died, therefore we're not able to heal them, and the subconscious influence from those scars have stayed within the soul and went into this life. It looks like there are stabbing wounds, like it appears in the right shoulder, also somewhere apparently like in the liver area. So these kind of things definitely affect our lifetime during this life. So those are things, but most of the issues are apparently more like relationship issues, and a lot of hurt came from different lifetimes where you have been hurt by other people. Well, basically there is quite something you can look at, and if you want to explore those things by yourself, all you have to do is just to look at some pains within your body, and if you feel the pain somewhere, you can concentrate on that pain, meditate within that pain, and the pictures should come. You should remember how that pain came, and who assisted you in gaining that pain, and from there you might consider healing that pain by forgiving that person or that situation, maybe wrapping with the white light that place which hurts, and see where you can go with that, because the wounds, they are not going to disappear by themselves. They just become scars, and those scars, they are kind of stiff energy which is not really flowing well, therefore not helping us to free ourselves from our mental states, emotional too, or maybe even physical. which can express in a physical state too if the wounds are for a very long time and you don't heal them, and later on they turn into something physical. Something else you would like to discuss? Well, your soul have been... So this part you mean you forgot mostly and you would like to refresh. Okay, so the Lyra and the ladies you remember, but before those you actually have been visiting the galaxy named Andromeda. This is the galaxy which most of us have to go, because this is the galaxy which administers our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. So whenever you are coming from somewhere else, you go to Andromeda, and then Andromeda, they are like administering you and making sure that you are ready for this Milky Way galaxy, because this galaxy is quite challenging. Therefore, well, it's not for everyone, so you have to be ready for what's coming here. So therefore, we go there to make sure we are ready, and if it seems that we are ready and we are able to comply with all the requirements, then we can proceed here. But before the Andromeda, also you have been visiting quite a few places also, and experienced quite a few challenges, but most of them seemed like not challenging enough for you, so therefore you were looking for a bigger challenge. Well, hopefully you found a challenge which challenges you enough. Well, the thing is, with you leaving, is that you will leave, then you will feel that you have accomplished your goal, which is to be able to organize your life in such a way that it would become boring for you. It's kind of something which we would call opposite psychology, which is you go on a challenge until the challenge becomes boring for you, and therefore you don't want to go any more further, because there is nothing to go by. So after the life is going to become boring, then you will leave, because it's not challenging you enough, and maybe you're gonna look for something else. Therefore, that's how it will go, it appears. Well, it depends on your... well, let's make something clear here. It does not appear that you are planning to go to your universe, because everything there is overly familiar to you, and therefore not challenging enough. Therefore, most likely you are going to look for new challenges, for something, maybe to go to some other universe where everything is going to be different. And because it's going to be different, therefore new challenges await there, because you need to familiarize yourself, to get accustomed there, and therefore until you learn those new energies which dominate in that environment, it's gonna be challenging. And that's all, for the lack of the better word, thrills your soul. Yes, at this moment you have, well, let's start with some general explanations. That every human being has some kind of entity attachment. It's not normal to say that person doesn't have entity attachments, because what that would mean that that person doesn't have any kind of negative emotional fluctuations. That is, the person is always positive, always happy, always satisfied, doesn't experience any kind of lacking mentality or emotional drain or whatever. So with that out of the way, we can explain that besides all the usual normal human attachments, we also have one which is a little bit overwhelming, and it shouldn't be there because it burdens you a little bit too much. And this entity, well, whatever, giving it a name or something, it's not really so important. But the entity have the idea that it can live upon your back, and it gives this feeling of back breaking heaviness or something like that, like pain on the chest, like a stone or something. It's simply, from our point of view, it doesn't really serve you any constructive purpose. So therefore, we would suggest that you should just throw this burden over your shoulder. Have you ever seen this martial sport which is called judo? So in judo they have this over the shoulder throw, where you throw your opponent over the shoulder. Actually, we even could recommend on a YouTube, you could find a nice video which is called Judo God. Quite an educative and entertaining also video, which could inspire you. But what you should try is to do the judo throw over the shoulder for that boulder on your chest, because it's from the back side, and you need to take it from, well, you can take it exactly from behind, but you can take it over your shoulder and do the judo throw and throw it out. Yeah, you can try. Yeah, Judo God is a very inspirational video, which you could get inspiration for that throw. It's a very old video besides black and white style. Just explore the pictures. Now all the pictures are somewhat in a bundle. So do you like to point out which one do you like to go first, or okay, man with sunglasses, yes, by the couch with shorts, your father. Also, it would be interesting to look at, have we talked? No, we haven't talked, no, this is the first time we talk about this person. We have? Oh, okay. Yeah, just for a small clarification also, this is the biological father we are talking about. Okay, so the thing is with this biological father is that it really is that we can point out that between you two have been quite a few lives, and in quite a few of those lives you had some kind of relationships, whatever those were, family relations or maybe even like friendly relations, and therefore not all of those lives have been smoothly. There have been quite a few tense moments during those lives, and therefore because of that tension, well, it kind of goes on. It didn't resolve itself. So whatever you are feeling, the drain or something, it is mostly based on the unresolved past energies, which in this life it's not really realistic to solve it from the point of the past lives, meaning that it's not really solvable from the past life point of view. more meaning that it should be resolved now, but it's not going to be resolved like in the psychological way, the way people resolve things usually, that let's sit down and let's talk and let's make everything clear and let's just move on. Doesn't seem to be possible, because every time you talk with this person, you go just deeper into those subconscious unresolved energies, which is coming from those past lives, and therefore if you will think that you will gonna resolve those relationships with the psychological point of view from this lifetime, it's not going to work like that. What can work is that you should, the best way to resolve those energies, actually not a resolution, but more like well, there is no other word to describe it but detachment. It's just simply what you need to let go of those energies, because anytime you will try to go deeper into those energies, you will just gonna go deeper into those karmic relations, and there is no end, because there was quite a few lifetimes before, and to resolve the karmic energies, it needs to be resolved on both hands. That meaning on your end and your father's end, and you both have to remember those things and understand why things happened or didn't happen, and why those energies are active, and therefore it doesn't seem that it's very realistic at this point to do that. So therefore, best advice would be just trying to let go of that, and whatever your father has something for you, let it be his deal, and from your point of view, the easiest way to go about that is just to let go whatever was and just move on. Just doesn't seem to be solvable. It doesn't mean that it's not solvable. It's just what we are indicating is that at this point of life, the easiest solution is just to let go and move on, instead of trying to solve the unsolvable, which is at this moment. But maybe you can just go really deep, sit together, meditate for the whole day and remember your past lives together, and that would be amazing. But I mean, how realistic is that? The father entity also subconsciously is willing to resolve those issues, but lack of his awareness of maybe the past life relations are not helping, because he is most likely trying to resolve it by mundane psychological means. Therefore, it's not going to solve those issues that you have. It's not the way it should go. So the best thing you could do for your father is to tell him one thing. That is, if you want to resolve our relationship, you need to look beyond this life into our past lives, because our problems lay there, not so much here. And what we have here is something that came from those lives. It's not what we made it here. What we have here is just all came from there. So therefore, if he is initiative and he wants to communicate and he wants to somehow to have relationship with you, you have to point him into correct direction, and that is the past lives. And if he is unwilling to, if he is not gonna be willing to grow in that direction, then you can say that, well, sorry, but there is not much I can help you, because you can't understand my point of view. So when you will gonna be willing to understand my point of view, then we will be able to try and resolve those issues together. But until we are on the same page, there is not much to talk about them. Well, kind of sounds cruel maybe to tell to your father, but it's a very eye-opening and growing statement. And if he really wants to have relationship with his daughter, he should consider growing into those directions. Might be very eye-opening for him. Oh, the next picture? Yes, we have had a conversation with the pizza guy. And so as we have stated before, you have this agreement, a soul agreement, that because your soul is, well, let's just say, a tough soul, and his soul is, well, let's just say, on the way on becoming tough. And the energies are still the same, that by communicating, your soul is challenging the soul to grow, for the growth, to become tougher, and therefore, as long as he is willing to toughen up, your relationships keeps working. And it appears that the energies are still active, the agreement is still on, therefore, not much have changed during from the last time we talked about. Up until now, energies seems quite similar. Do you feel something have changed during that time? So at this point of time, yeah, well, we have to always look when we are talking about relationship as, well, first of all, we have to understand that we like to imagine relationships like a perfect pair where two things get together and they fit perfectly and they just accompany each other and there are no challenges and problems. That would be the ideal conditions. Usually that's not the case, and sometimes we have more fitting pairs and sometimes less fitting. Well, however it is, in your case you are a bit different, but despite that it is quite a long-going relationship, quite a few years. So we also would like to state that this relationship from your point of view is also interesting for you because it is challenging, and your soul could find with its vibrational frequency could find a probably better match. But then again, you kind of intuitively know that without challenge comes the boredom. So it's a bit paradoxical at this point that you keep going because you want a challenge and all that challenge thrills you, even though it drains you at the same time. Despite that, the way the energies are connecting between you two, well, the situation haven't really changed as it was stated before. Neither did it improve, neither it had really degraded. It's more on the same, but at the same time we have maybe less and less resources to go on. So at this point you are getting into this crossroad where you need to start making decisions, because there comes a time, like a critical time, where something has to be changed, but the change can come from the outside same as from the inside, and that change means either the partner has to change because it's becoming boring at some point. Same things after same things. Or your inside has to change. It also can be very exciting. You could accept new mental ideas about relationship. That also could be the change. Change doesn't have to always come from the outside, it can also come from the inside. Therefore, if you would be willing to change something inside, change your mentality, change your point of view, the way you look at those relationships, therefore that could re-energize your whole system, because you would look from the new angle, and those energies that you were exploring for all these years, they became somewhat dull and boring. So therefore you need a new sharper angle upon this, and whatever you are going to sharpen your angle with new mental ideas about relationships, or whatever you are going to just find a new partner, well, it's up to you actually. So it appears that's all could be said at this point. There are 2 points here regarding your same relationships, which are recurring relationships. Is first thing, yes, we can agree that your mental state hasn't really changed, most likely, during all those years. Therefore, same kind of relationships. So that's the point about the new sharper angle upon those things. The other thing is that, well, it's not all about you, it's also about those people that you are meeting, that they actually need your help, and you are in a position to help them. So if you don't want to be in a position to help them anymore, doesn't seem to be very likely that you are gonna move away from this position, because we have to understand something about life, that life is not all about what we want. There is also something which is called the higher plan, which is all about that we need to learn things. And the problem is with this world that we don't have enough people who can be teachers. We have a lot of people who can be students, not too many teachers. So the higher plan always tries to organize things in such a way that when we are going into any kind of relationship, that it would be a growing relationship. And well, the reality is that you can help people and you can teach people. And it doesn't seem like that you would be actually satisfied with a relationship in which you would go and be in an unchallenging environment, and that lack of challenge doesn't seem to be satisfying for your soul. It appears that you're gonna find new students after new students. I mean, this energy also really connects to another quite an influential soul in your life, which you call your mother. There is no going around about that. It's just unavoidable. So therefore, you see, there is just, you can't just ignore those energies. They are just too strong, too present. So therefore, you see, things are related and connected, and there is just too much influence from that entity upon you, and in a certain way, in a certain subconscious way, also you are willing to match that entity. You're kind of also thrilled by the match which is set by your mother, and therefore, well, whatever you like to recognize that or not doesn't actually make a difference, but the way the energies are is that what you would like to match her, or even maybe in some cases outmatch her. So it is also very thrilling, and because you are not like accepting people in your life the way your mother does it, like in a student and teacher relation. So therefore, because you don't do that, you accept the students like your boyfriends. It's quite silly, but that's how things look like. Things can change after some time when you will feel like you can take on students like from the outside of your relationships, not only on the intimate side, but on like an outside relationship. So therefore, then you will be ready for that. Then things can change, because now when you look at a new relationship, you're looking at, oh, that is a potential student of mine, and maybe I can teach him a few things, and therefore I will go into a relationship with that person. So therefore you accept it, but you're trying to connect two energies, student and a partner, and therefore it comes out like this. And after you will, let's just say, gain more spiritual experience, and you will gonna start teach people from the outside, then you will be able to recognize that, wait, I don't need another student in my life as my boyfriend. I have lots of students from the outside. I need a matching partner who can match my vibrational frequency and can help me, for example, with my students. Then you can change the situation, because you don't gonna feel a lack for the students. It's a bit complex, but let's hope it's clearer now. Undressed guy. And what exactly are your relations to this person? Not exactly clear. What are you searching? What kind of answers are you searching? Because your relations does not seem to be all that important. Something seems like you are matching on some points. At this point, the way the energies look, whether you are ready to face it or not, but you are looking at this person as an alternative partner, and it's kind of some of the energies are based on that, but besides that, you don't see what exactly is the question about this person. Doesn't seem to be all that much, and there doesn't seem to be a lot to explore here. So what else do you like to discuss? So the job you are describing now, the energies, the way they look, that it's the energies with this job is not going to be, let's just say like this, it's not going to be about happiness and fulfillment or whatever. This is something which is coming for you because you need to learn specific skills, and those skills are going to be important for you in the future, that you are going to use them later on for other things. It appears that this thing which is coming, it's not going to be overly long term, doesn't seem to be more like a few years. But the thing is that you need to, your soul seems that it needs to learn those skills about some administration things, organizing things, something, how to deal with organizational stuff, guide things, and something of that administrative nature. And after you feel that you have learned all those skills, most likely that things will change and you will move on. But not before you have learned it. You will feel like you have learned everything you need to learn. So it's mostly about that. Anything more? Or maybe it's the energies are pacified for the moment, discharged. So what else we could point out? I guess not much, just maybe the same energies we have ended in the last time. We will repeat them a little bit again. That your lover is not your enemy, and even though you have disagreements at some points, later on you will find her to be your good friend. I'm hoping that you're finding her as your friend more and more with time already, but later on something that needs to be repeated this time and maybe a few more times in the future, that you are trying to match her, and you have this idea of outmatching her, but it doesn't have to be on that competitive nature. It can also be on cooperative nature, and with time more and more cooperation will gonna be present, and easier those energies will go. As it is going already, it's gonna be just improving with time. So with that pacified even more, I guess I would like to thank you, Madame, for your time, for the opportunity to communicate again, and hopefully to even assist you in some things. So we are hoping for future opportunities to communicate with you again. Hopefully, we have switched languages. That's maybe even more appropriate, because our Lithuanian language is somewhat limiting. English is much more expanding, with much more opportunities language, opportunistic. So, okay. So thank you for the conversation. We would like to wish you all the best, and also would like to mention, if the conversation was somewhat useful for you, you found it useful, there's a possibility to express your gratitude. Yes, actually, you probably have also noticed that we have an English website also, and but the Lithuanian is all the same, mostly. So okay, so thank you for the conversation, and we wish you all the best, and hopefully, most likely, up until next future communications.